What happens after you move into your newly built custom home? On this episode of Building with Breven, Stephen and Mike discuss warranty expectations, maintenance, and new homeowner tips to enjoy your new home to the fullest. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Building with Breven. This is episode number 37. We are excited to be back as always, and this week we are covering a topic that I think a lot of people don't think about initially, but it's very important, and it's actually something that people should think about up front, and also something that can help them make the best decision on which builder to go with and proper expectation setting from the beginning. So yeah, we'll jump into that in just a little bit. But Dad, how's everything going?
Going great, Stephen. Looking forward to getting into the spring so we can do some homeowner maintenance and getting the house back in shape.
There we go. Well, awesome.
So,
Yep. Yeah, I think you kind of hinted at it a little bit. So here we go. The episode this week is all about warranty expectations after closing for homeowners, and then also homeowner maintenance. So all three of those things kind of go hand in hand, that once a home is complete, what's the builder's responsibility for coming back to fix? What's the timeline for that? Then also what's on the homeowners? As a new homeowner, there's definitely some expectations that need to be set properly, but every home requires maintenance, and what is on the builder and what is on the homeowner. So this is going to be a little tough. I'll admit every builder does warranty a little bit differently, and every state requires some different things from their builders, but we can speak to Texas in general and try to generalize some other things for people that may be in, say, Atlanta, Georgia, or Dallas, Texas, or, in California, or wherever they are across the country. We can try to make this as relevant as possible. So without further ado, let's kind of jump right into it. Let's talk about closing, Dad, and let's start there and just say that that's an extremely exciting time for these new homeowners. They get to have the keys handed over to them. They're excited to move their stuff in and start making that house their new home. So very exciting, but that also comes with proper expectation setting for what is warranty and what is homeowner responsibility.
it's a great lead into it's the end of the building process, but really the beginning of where the homeowner has to take responsibility for everything that happens hereafter. So it is a beginning as much as it is an ending. So one way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. One thing we like to remind our homeowners is that these are custom homes. They've never been built before. They're using natural materials such as wood, stone, everything else, drywall, the flooring. I mean, all that stuff is mostly handmade with human hands that are framing the home, installing the drywall, painting the home, all that kind of stuff. There's so many components that go into a home. And like I said, this is a custom home that has never been built before. Even if it's a production or a tract home, those are still one of a kind as well. That home has never been built on that lot. And even though those builders kind of rinse and repeat and they've got the same floor plans and they use the same trades and the same materials and the same everything, really, it's still, there's a little bit of variable there, that it's not just like a vehicle rolling off of an assembly line. It's not the same, and it's built out in the open in nature and subject to the elements and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we get into, and that's what we have to differentiate is what are things that the homeowner should be maintaining and what are things that the builder should come back and fix under warranty. So it's common to expect the house to settle and perform and do its thing after the home is closed. And also, we say as builders, we've never lived in that home. We've never showered there. We've never cooked there. We've never done all the things that people do in their homes. We've built it, but we have not lived in it. So you're going to find some things. I mean, no builder has ever built a perfect home in history. So it's common to expect that there's going to be warranty items and that there's also going to be homeowner maintenance that's needed. So, Dad, maybe you can start off. Let's talk about just some of the obvious things that we see that are not necessarily builder responsibility, but more so homeowner responsibility. What are some of those obvious things that they move in and they realize pretty quickly?
Yeah, it's a good place to start because, it doesn't matter what your builder warranty is. There are a lot of commonalities that every home across the country, maybe across the world, has that you have to maintain. You have an air conditioning system, you have to change the air filters. You have a water heater, you have to maintain the water heater. Whether it's an on-demand water heater or a tank water heater, you have to maintain it or you're going to get sludge built up in it. So there are lots of homeowner responsibilities. not just on the inside of the house, but also on the outside of the house. You have to maintain your drainage around the property. You have to make sure that the builder has established a drainage plan. Don't block it by putting playstations, or what am I going to say, the swing sets in the way, or toys, kids' toys, or changing the grade in any way, because you could be causing problems for you. That won't be the builder issue. That'll be your issue later, because they have established a drainage program so that your foundation performs in a certain way and doesn't heave or settle and create cracking. So those are just three off the top of my head: the water heaters, the air filters, the drainage. Three very obvious ones.
And I really like that you brought those ideas and those examples up, because I think that kind of paints the picture for what we're talking about here. It's changing the air filters. You can't expect, or I would hope most people don't expect their builder to come back into their home and change their air filters quarterly or monthly or however often your system needs those air filters changed. Same thing with, landscaping maintenance and putting in new landscaping beds. We've seen that as a big one, where homeowners will come in and do additional landscaping, which is totally fine. But they have to be aware of how that changes their drainage plan, just like you mentioned, and where it's potentially stopping or trapping up water. And that excess water can absolutely cause some issues with maybe the foundation or the vegetation, whether that's grass or whatever it is. So those are some really good examples you just mentioned. And then the water heater and those kind of things, that might not be something that the homeowners would realize until down the line. I mean, their water heater only ends up lasting 2, 3, 5 years instead of 10, 20 years, or whatever the expected lifetime of those water heaters are. So those are some really good examples that I hope help the listeners understand where we're coming from in this episode. I want to touch a little bit on what a builder warranty is, and kind of setting the expectations there as well. Maybe that'll help also express what's on the builder's plate, as we had just talked about a couple of items that are on the homeowner's plates. Builder's warranty for us, we in Central Texas, and I think most builders in Texas, follow the standard, which is a 1-year workmanship warranty, a 2-year mechanical systems warranty, and then a 6-year now structural warranty. And that used to be a 10-year structural warranty that has just changed by the lawmakers in the state of Texas. All that to say that those are the different classifications of where our warranty items fall. We can break that down a little bit more. Let's start at the big thing, which is the 6-year structural. That's pretty straightforward. That's going to be your foundation. That's going to be your framing elements, and any roof structural elements as well. Those are going to be the structural components of your home. And those are covered under that 6-year structural warranty. The 2-year mechanicals warranty, that's going to be your plumbing, your electrical, and your HVAC systems. So that'll cover those materials and the labor that was used to install those systems. Now, once again, just like you mentioned, Dad, with the good example of the water heater, cleaning that out, making sure it's properly maintained. Same thing with the air filters. If your HVAC system fails in the first 2 years and it's determined that it was because you've never changed your air filter and it's extremely dusty or clogged, or it's blocking up airflow and restricting that, then that's where this warranty stuff kind of gets a little bit of a gray area. But that's where it would be really tough for the builder to come back and say, hey, you did not properly maintain your home, so now we're not able to warrant this system. But anyways, that's the 2-year portion of this. And the 1-year workmanship is it encompasses a lot of things, but it also does not cover some things. And the best way I can describe this without a true full handbook and this all broken down, which we definitely do, and a good builder will, the best they can, with documents and agreements and all kinds of things that the builder and the homeowner agree to, of what's covered under warranty and what is not. Typically, I don't know very many builders, or any for that matter, that do a bumper to bumper warranty where everything in your home and everything outside your home is covered for that 1-year workmanship warranty. That's not at all what it is. And that 1-year workmanship, the best way I can describe it is it's anything that was an error on either the materials or the labor of install for your home. Now, natural occurrences or homeowner caused things such as scuffs or scratches on your walls inside your home when you moved in, of course, that's not warrantable by your builder. That was homeowner caused. Anything that Mother Nature causes, that's also something that the home builder could not prevent. So that would be something that would fall back on the homeowner. A good example of that would be hail damage or freeze and thaw cycles that could potentially crack your exterior veneer, whether that's stone, brick, stucco, whatever that is. So all these things can cause, these items to come up with your home. And I want to differentiate that. We don't like to call them issues. We like to call them items because not everything is an issue with your home. So anyways, these items that'll pop up, a lot of them can be out of your builder's control. And that's where it's tough for the builder to come back and justify being able to warrant those items. Now, I know as a homeowner, as a listener, there are people that are probably thinking, well, I just spent a lot of money on this home and my home builder needs to just warrant everything. And unfortunately, that's not the way it works. And any good builder needs to follow the standards that they set out and the contracts that they sign. So, with all that being said, there's a lot of gray area in warranty, but good builders do their best to try to make that as black and white as possible. Dad, what am I leaving out here? I mean, anything else
No,
to pitch in on this?
yeah, I think you nailed it. You want to get rid of the whodunits. If something is scratched, missing, dented, something that could be probably argued later on, like who done it, you want to kind of take those out of the equation, because builders, they can go back endlessly and argue, who's responsible for whatever. But that's why you get it on a list, prior to closing, make sure that things are pretty tight. But I will also say that a reputable, honest builder will do what's right. And if doing what's right is realizing that maybe there was a workmanship issue, maybe it wasn't a homeowner issue, they will take care of it. So pick your builder carefully and go with a builder that is honest and does kind of give you the benefit of the doubt. But in order to alleviate the whodunits after closing, make sure you kind of get a good inspection of the home and get everything on a list that might be an issue later.
Yep. Yeah, really solid point there that, yeah, the whodunits, I like that phrase that, yeah, was it prior to closing and it was one of the builder's trades or builder's materials, or was it after closing and it could have been the dog or the kids or somebody else that moved into the home? That's the whodunits that you just described, which I really like that. One thing I want to talk through here now is how we handle warranty submissions and the expectations that we set with our homeowners prior to closing. Now, like we said, every builder is going to be so different in this aspect, but this is what we've found that works best for us and also works best for our homeowners. And for that reason, we have a system where once we close the home, we give our homeowners a portal to log into. So they can go to our website, they can click on the warranty tab, it'll take them to this portal. Their home is automatically registered for the warranty upon closing. So the day that they close, their home now turns into warranty. And any items that pop up, they go through this portal online and they submit a warranty item, which requires them to put in a description, the location, what they believe is, maybe the responsible trade or anything like that. And then photos are extremely helpful. Photos and videos of the item are extremely helpful. So it all goes into this portal. And then we have a third-party warranty company that actually helps us with making these gray situations like we've mentioned and what's right in our builder eyes versus what's right in the homeowner's eyes. Of course, there's going to be some discrepancies there because like we said, most homeowners don't like to be told no when they move in and something is non-warrantable. That's not always an easy conversation. But as a builder, like we said, we have to protect all of our homeowners and treat them all the same. And for that reason, we have to stick to what is in the documents that we all sign. So this third-party warranty has those documents and they know what is warrantable and what is not. And then they can be kind of that middleman to say, okay, this is warrantable. Breven Homes, you need to send the proper trade out and go ahead and get this fixed. Or vice versa. They'll tell the homeowner, hey, we've reviewed this item is non-warrantable. And for that reason, here's what Breven Homes recommends. Or a lot of times we'll even provide an option to say, hey, this is non-warrantable, but our tile company has offered to come back out and do X, Y, and Z items. Here's the price that they would charge to do that. And we'll let the homeowner directly coordinate that with the responsible trades in those kind of scenarios. So I paint this picture and hopefully that kind of explains or shows what our process is. And the reason we use that third-party company is a couple reasons, but one of it is they are tracking and actively monitoring those warranty situations so that they can help us to stay on top of everything. Warranty is it can be quite a bit of work, and there are builders that definitely fall behind on it. And for that reason, we don't want to be one of those builders. So we use this third-party warranty company to help us stay on top of those warranty items. They're constantly tracking them, all that kind of stuff. And then they give us updates. We give them updates. And it's just another person and team that helps us with that process. But I also want to say, too, that they're actually backed by, ours in particular is backed by Liberty Mutual Insurance. And there are several other big warranty companies like this that provide some reassurance to the homeowners that if for some reason your builder just folds up shop or they go bankrupt or whatever the situation is, or there's a catastrophic structural failure that happens to your home, which you would never want or plan on that, of course, but you want to be protected. And basically, these third party warranty companies act like insurance, and they will pick up those larger claims for the builders. So if there's something that was $500,000 worth of structural damage that would bankrupt your builder and they would not be able to cover that, these third party warranty companies usually will kick in and pick up that difference and help to make sure that your home is protected and the home builder can fulfill their obligations through these third party companies. So all that to say, I don't believe that every builder does that, but from what we've seen, most good and reputable builders will have that coverage. And it's just something that they include with their home so that everybody has some peace of mind. Dad, what did I miss? Anything that you want to
No,
add to wrap this up?
I think one of the other advantages of a third party warranty company is they will look at things objectively. Oftentimes, the builder, if it's less than reputable, will always try to say, it's not my problem, not my fault, or try to wiggle a way out of something. And a third party warranty program will look at things objectively and say, no, it is your responsibility. And that will get fixed because a neutral party is looking at it, not from the side of the builder or the side of the homeowners. I think there's an advantage there too. And plus, like you said, the insurance behind it, if the builder does go belly up, there is somebody that's going to fix your problem. And that's good to know, especially when you spend $1 million or whatever on a home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, very good. Cool. I think that wraps up this episode. I just want to wrap it up myself by saying that warranty is tough. It's tough for builders. It's tough for homeowners. The expectations, to be completely honest, are that homeowners are moving into this brand new custom home that they think is perfect and is not going to have any issues. And that's just not the case. Every single home, like we mentioned, has had warranty items, and every builder knows how warranty goes. So just something to address with your builder and make sure that you're properly understanding how things are going to be handled after closing. With all that being said, I want to wrap this episode up. This was episode 37, and we appreciate all of our listeners very much. For that reason, we put these podcast episodes out once a week or as much as we can, and it's all free information. We don't run any ads. We don't ask for anything in return, but we would like your help if you can comment, share, give us a rating, review, all that stuff on these platforms so that we can get this out to more people and help more future homeowners. That being said, Dad, thanks as always for joining us, and that's a wrap.
Been a pleasure.